Well, good morning, everyone. We're here at Emzara's Buffet at the Ark, one of the biggest restaurants in America. And so as notifications go out, of course, we just have to talk about nothing. This is this is Dan. He's our VP of Operations for the attractions,
yes,
for the Ark Encounter and for the Creation Museum. And so as people get online here, this opens at 11 a.m. at the Ark Encounter.
Yes.
And this is, let me see, right now it's about 11:15. So 15 minutes from opening. So we want to do a tour now. By the way, if the atheists are watching this, they'll say, see, nobody's at the Ark because there's nobody in the restaurant. Just so you know, there's nobody in the restaurant. The doors are locked. We're doing this before they start coming in.
That's right.
Because we didn't want to interrupt what happens here because it gets very busy. Actually, I was talking to our food services director, and she said on busy days they'll serve 3,000 people here. That's a very big restaurant for America, isn't it?
It's a lot of food.
A lot of food. It is a lot of food.
It's pretty amazing.
You get tractor trailer loads of food, right?
Yes,
so I want to show you that this is the complexities of running a big kitchen for one of the biggest restaurants in America. It was so amazing. I wanted Dan to take you through and to show you this. You'll be amazed at the technology, what goes on here, the complexity, that sort of thing. So Dan, let's go down this way. Yep.
All right. Well, as you come in, this is where the guests would approach. So they're going to be coming from this side. Currently, they're picking plates up here, but we're still working through the best way to do things.
Hey, for those that have been here before, we've now moved to real plates.
We were doing disposables, but we now have this this melamine china, which comes in 4 colors. So it's colorful, it's interesting. It's
so
not
you must
boring.
Have a massive dishwasher out there.
Yeah, we're going to see that in a little bit. It's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about 6,000 plates, just dinner plates alone that we provide just to get started. So they're going to approach the bar here, and it splits in the middle. So you go this way or this way, and you're going to get the same options.
Okay.
And this helps kind of break the crowd up a little bit as they hit.
So we'll walk around.
So
here.
yeah, so this is the cold side. You can see we've got we've got beets because Ken likes beets. No, lots of people like beets.
Pickle beets.
Pickle beets.
As long as they're pickle beets.
The prep salads you see, the pasta salad, the pea salad, the kale superfood, the raisin salad, we make all that in-house. It's not a mix. We do those every day in fresh batches. So, and of course they garnish the top. Kelly's big mantra is it's got to look pretty when it goes out. So they're always making sure that everything looks right before it leaves the kitchen. So same thing with the salads. She has 4 different salad recipes she's put together. They look beautiful when they come out like that. Of course, they get eaten pretty fast.
But because you're seeing the food here already, the preparation aspect is another complexity.
Yes, it's a mad hours dash to get everything put together. But you can see the quality of the food there. It's not a cheapy lettuce mix. It's romaine. It's chopped by hand. So there's a lot of parts to this. Even the corn, it's all doctored up. Nothing's the same. Collard greens, if you're a collard green fan, they're very good for those I'm told that like collard greens. So we've got the fries and macaroni and cheese. That's got our own cheese sauce on it.
Everyone's getting hungry watching this now.
Yeah. So these are just the side items, first of all. We run 2 kinds of soup daily. We have a chili that we make in-house. And this is broccoli cheddar today. So we want a peek of the soup. Then, of course, you come around the corner and you can't have a meal without bread. So there's breadsticks, rolls. What's the cornbread? There's a jalapeno cornbread, which is really interesting if you like that sweet and hot look to it and flavor. And, of course, traditional honey cornbread. That's all made in-house again. So jalapeno cornbread if you've never tried it. So then, once you're done with the side items, you would move towards what we call, affectionately interior, we call it the wall of protein. So this is a duplication all the way down, but this is where all the entrees are. So we'll let you get a good view of some of this food. This fried chicken, I believe it's the best you're going to find anywhere.
Even better than Chick-fil-A?
Oh, don't get me mad, Chick-fil-A, but yes, I believe it's better. The fried chicken's hand-breaded. It's fresh, never frozen. It's broasted. It's just wonderful chicken. You can see, again, the color. They pay attention to the color of the food, make sure it's not bland. The pollock. This is a new one. This is a new recipe. It's jambalaya. It's got spicy sausage, shrimp, and chicken in it.
Don't they eat that sort of stuff in Louisiana?
Yes. Yeah, it's a very but it's mild. It's not as hot as you would get. spaghetti and meatballs. These are more kid-friendly items. There's a chicken tender, but that's actually from our friends over at Breakbush Chicken, and that's coated in potato chip.
Oh, really?
It's a crushed potato chip and a coat, so it's really, really crispy on the outside. And these are mini corn dogs. Then we have riblets, we have Salisbury steak, and then it repeats. And as you can see, it repeats a long way down.
Now, Dan, to cook all these individual items, and then what happens when trays go empty?
Okay, so let me show you that. We'll do it out here. So there's 114 pans of food on the bar when it's full.
114 pans of food.
Yes.
Okay.
And so the way it's set up is every pan on the front side where the guest is has a backup pan. As you can see, they've got rice right here on the warmth. When the backup pan, when that pan goes empty, they'll pull this pan forward and they'll hit this green button right here. When they hit that green button, it goes back to some screens in the kitchen that now tell the kitchen staff they just use their backup of rice. So then somebody prepares a pan back there, somebody brings it out, and they hit the red button. When they hit the red button, it goes off the screen and lets the kitchen know the rice has been refilled. The folks at Call have done a little bit of programming for us so that when that red button is hit, it starts a timer. So we now know how long that rice has been there, so we can make sure the quality's right. So we can actually go to the computer and tell you how long that rice pan's been sitting there.
And by law, you can't have them out too long.
Yeah,
but it moves so quickly
right.
anyway.
It's not usually an issue, but it's more about food quality for us than anything else.
Yeah.
So you can see if you look around, there's buttons on every well.
And that's true of
And that's on the same thing on the back side of the wall.
On the back side of the wall with all the protein in that too.
So nobody has to holler and radio each other and say, hey, I need more of something. It's all done quietly through that system.
So you can show us in the monitor.
Yeah, I'll show you the
there.
monitors back there.
Yeah. Okay. It's amazing. So let's go into the kitchen itself.
Yeah, let's go through this door here. We changed out a lot of stuff, including the doors. These doors are easy for the staff to see who's coming and going, and they can back through them so they don't hurt themselves. So now we're in the production area. There's your wall of proteins from the backside. So as you can see, it's a ton of food. They're getting ready for big crowds. This is Kelly right here, our food service director. So what
you're
happens,
in charge of getting all this done, Kelly.
what
I
happens
have a
in,
great staff, so it's not, I just say, here, I need this, and they get it all
do
done
it.
for me, so.
a lot of this stuff's done from scratch. Kelly writes the recipes. These guys duplicate what she's put together, and they do a lot of stuff from scratch. It's not just out of a bag. So some of the desserts they're just putting out. Kids like the smaller things, so they do smaller bites. She's making the kale superfood salad. She's got gloves on, just so you check. Then we have the cook line here. We have a couple steamers.
So can we walk down here? a
Yeah,
little
we
bit?
can walk down that
Okay.
way. We're in the process of changing something. I'll show you that in a minute. So they have these walk-ins close by. With the volume of food we do, we had to go with all walk-ins. We couldn't do reach-ins because it's just too much. So everything gets prepped here. What are you up to? Sauteing onions for catering. So he's doing that on the stovetop. Then we have what's called a thermalizer. It's just a giant hot water bath. So we can freeze and bag things, and then we can rethaw and heat up in the water. That way it doesn't burn. A couple of steamers. What are we making in the kettle right now? Is this a jambalaya?
Jambalaya.
So he's making the jambalaya right now in the kettle. Oh, that smells good. She's working on pasta, cutting up the sausage for the jambalaya. This is sort of the creative area. This is where all the spices and stuff when they want to play with a new recipe. Then we have walk-in cooler and freezer over here.
I don't know how to use all those spices.
What's that?
I don't know how to use all those spices.
Salt and pepper, that's about it, right? So then
So-
we're moving towards the back of the house. These are our two walk-ins up here. But we have a pallet lift down to the warehouse, and we're going to show you that in a minute. So this restaurant was designed to be fed from below up. So when we go down, we'll show you the logistics area, and it all comes up on pallets on this lift.
How many pallets of food do we get a day?
Well, a truck holds, I think, 40 pallets, and we get that six days a week now.
Wow.
And sometimes it's two trucks. Like on a Friday, it'll be two. So she's got the pizza area here. This services the pizza kiosk outside. They do all the pizzas in here.
So you cook all the pizzas in here.
Through this
They're
giant-
basically made from scratch, right?
Yes, they're made from scratch. They run through this oven and they go out to the pizza stand outside. These things are monsters.
That's a big pizza.
It is a big
Big
pizza
pizza
oven.
oven.
Runs about almost 600 degrees in there.
How many pizzas can you make?
Roughly, if you do two side by side, you can do 54 pizzas an hour per oven. So then we got the pot and pan washing area here. We'll kind of cut back this way. 5-bay fryers, and then there's the roasted chicken we're talking about. As you can see, he's temping that chicken now to make sure before it goes out it's at the right temperature on the internal side. But that's a pressure fryer, so it pushes the chicken down below the oil. See how those fries are floating over there?
Yeah.
The roaster creates pressure that pushes it underneath the oil completely. So you never have that top. That's why it seals the chicken so well.
Is this the monitor to tell what they need out there?
This is one of the monitors. The blue is open and the other ones below are closed. So the blue ones are all the things they're still asking for. The yellow are things that they've already sent out that have been canceled.
So when something out there is needed, it pops up on here?
There's two up on here and there's two other monitors in the front of the kitchen. That's what's connected to those buttons we saw. Hello Gerald, how are you? Good. So this whole wall here, when we get down to logistics, I'm going to show you the power soak. It's ready to install. The guys came in this morning and put the holes in the floor for the plumbing. It's going to take up this entire wall. So
what's that going to be?
So this is called a power soak. I'll show you it downstairs when we get down there. But basically think of it as a giant jacuzzi for pots and pans.
Oh, okay.
So you put them in there and the water's agitated, it's hot and soapy.
Right.
So when you put a pan from the line in, a few minutes later, it's pretty much clean. Then you take it and wash it and sanitize
Wash it over there.
Yep. That way they don't have to scrape and scrub dishes all the time.
So what about all the dishes now? You don't use plastic dishes. Where are they washed?
That's where we're heading next. This used to be an unused corner, and there was a wall here. Mm-hmm. We took over this whole hallway and turned it into a dish area. So these two things here, these are called silver soakers. It's from the same company as the Power Soak. That basket strainer sits down in there. It has a heater, and so it agitates warm soapy water over the silverware. If there's one thing anybody hates when they go to a buffet, it's a dirty knife, fork, or spoon. These things, we're going to soak them before they ever go through the dish machine, and then they go through twice. So we're going to make sure that doesn't happen here. So these little guys are pretty important, and they're pretty neat to watch.
And this is your dishwasher?
So yeah, so this is the breakdown area. They bring the trash can back. This is for glasses. So they put the glass rack up so they can put the cups up there. Then they move them through the scrape, sanitize, and then they go through the machine. The machine has teeth, like a conveyor belt, and it actually washes everything twice on the way through. So it grabs the bottom of the tray.
That's like the car wash I take my car through.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like a conveyor belt.
It grabs the bottom of the tray and then it pulls it through. Right now it's heating up because it has to get to 180 degrees in there, but it'll pull that through and it'll just keep putting dishes through. This machine will do 224 racks of dishes an hour. So
wow.
we're okay on capacity.
So you've got some staff that are going to come in here soon?
Yeah,
and start
as soon
doing
as the
this?
dishes start coming back, we start, and I'll show you right here where the dishes. So they come out on this end, on the clean side, then they go to here. So as you can see, they've got some plates out, but they've still got a lot of them back here. They go from here onto a dolly, and the dolly takes them out to the dining room.
Amazing.
So this is always dirty through clean. So you're never bringing dirty through the clean area, you're always bringing dirty through clean. Does it make sense?
Yep.
So that's the dish area. Now we'll go see where the logistics
There's a whole level of
happens.
complexity here that I...
Yeah, well, and you have to
Didn't
put
know
a hood in if you have a high temp dish machine. So we had to add that hood, and there's a lot of rewiring that was done, plumbing. There's a booster heater to make sure it never goes below 180 degrees. That heater acts as a secondary heater to make sure the water going into the machine is as hot as it can be.
How come you know all this stuff? But then again, you're in charge of it, so you have to, right?
I've done this for a while, and I've got a really good team that keeps me honest. So.
Okay, but behind all this, there's a whole nother area to feed all this.
Yes.
Right?
So these guys are feeding the customer. So where does all the stuff that they get come from? And that's where we're going next.
Okay.
Excuse me, Jesse. Hey, Galen.
Hey, Dan. Hi, Ken.
Hi. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So now we're down in what we would call the belly. So just as everything has to be prepared upstairs to go out, these guys receive everything to go up.
So this
is both retail and food and beverage right now, but this will all go to food and beverage as soon as the theater's available. We've got some storage in there.
We've got some storage in there, so this will be all food and beverage.
So this is right now. This is all the T-shirts and videos and all the stuff that we sell in the resource store. All your books are down here, and then.
So where do they do all the checking in of the pallets of food and
right here.
ordering?
This is Chris right here. He's our manager of logistics, and he handles all the incoming deliveries come to him.
And
they check
them
it
all
in, they
here.
put it in the inventory system, and then they make sure it goes out to where it needs to go.
Morning.
So as you
I'm
can
doing
see,
good.
she's packing rolled shirts, so that when those hit the sales floor, they're ready to go right out. We don't do anything pricing or any of that on the sales floor because it's too busy. It's just too much. So new hot box coming in here. So all this stuff here is back up for the restaurant. So
where's that big soaker machine you said that you put in there?
It's right out back. I'll show you.
Okay.
This is the bottom of that pallet lift. They just take a pallet, slide it on there with this guy, hit the button, and it goes up, and then they go upstairs. These guys actually go upstairs and unload the pallets as well. So the idea there is the food service people are only taking care of the front customers. And then these guys' customers, the food service and the retail. So everybody's got a customer that they're trying to please all the time. So it works out well that way.
So, the average restaurant in a city,
They wouldn't have this.
it wouldn't even compare to something
the
like
average
this.
restaurant, if you manage a restaurant anywhere out in the world, you'd get your own truck, you'd arrive when it's there, you'd check off your deliveries, you'd put it away, and then your cooks would go pull what they need. This is designed so they never have to leave task, and that task is serving the guest.
So Kelly says on days right now through the summer, you're feeding probably 3,000 or more a day.
Yeah. And
Just in this restaurant.
Yes.
We have other food
we have
facilities here.
Yeah, we
too,
have
don't
several other venues, and then they supply everything for all the venues. So, and this is just
we've got
dry
the
goods.
smokehouse, and we've got
Smokehouse,
sandwiches.
Zofar's, the ice cream shop. We have a couple carts out there. There's a lot of food across the park, and these guys make sure it happens.
And that's because we get a lot of people.
That's right.
And they've got nowhere else to go to
Now,
eat, so we've
the
got to
atheist may take a picture down here and say, see, there's no guests, but guests aren't allowed down here. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so that would be why you don't see anybody down here. So then we go outside. So we have
You have a little freezer outside too.
a little one, yeah. So you've got a roll door to get stuff in here, and I'll show you another little redundancy too. Because things happen, so you have to be prepared for that. So you'll notice there's a second door just like that up there. The purpose for that is if the lift ever goes down, you can forklift directly into the kitchen.
Oh, okay. So
So
sort of redundancy.
Yeah, so we don't have to hand carry stuff upstairs.
So we're at the back of Emzara.
yeah, so
right
they've
now.
pulled some stuff out. They're doing some spring cleaning and getting some things washed out while the weather's nice.
And so this is the little freezer you have?
Yeah,
as well as all the freezers upstairs.
There's a few little refrigerators and freezers out here that all the truck gets delivered into. So you got cooler is one, and then freezer and 2, 3, and 4 are all freezers.
On a hot day like today, it'd be nice to. Oh, that's so beautiful in here.
But all the products you see in here now will be gone in 2 days,
So that's 2 days worth of
roughly.
food.
Yeah, and same with the freezers. So every 2 days we pretty much turn over our full inventory of frozen and cooler items. That way we keep it fresh.
No wonder you have to get a tractor trailer load or two a day.
Cisco is our supplier, and they've been very good to us. They get here early in the morning. They're very consistent with that, and then they bring lots and lots of stuff.
So this is actual freezer in this one. This is certainly an amazing complex, isn't it?
It is. It's a delicate balance between what's coming in and what's going out and who's doing what, and everybody has their role to play. It really is. It's really a team effort. And if you look at what we're doing upstairs, and you notice the average age of those folks, they were all fairly young,
Yeah.
college students and high school students, and some seniors, and it's a good mix.
So we create about 450 seasonal jobs here a year
In the
between
restaurant.
here and the museum.
Oh yeah, easily 450, probably a lot more than that.
And so, so right now, I think Answers Genesis has about 1,100 staff altogether,
full-time
including
and seasonal.
and that creates thousands of jobs in the community.
I want to show you this over here. They've got the power soak laid out. You're going to want to see that. So this is waiting to be installed. It'll be installed tonight in place.
So this is for the pots and pans.
Yeah, so this will be closest to the door.
So what have you been doing up until now? You didn't have a power soak.
No, up until now, those guys are scrubbing
Just
every
doing
pan
it
by hand.
by
yeah.
hand.
So this 6-foot tub looks like a jacuzzi. See all the little jets in there?
Mm-hmm.
So it self-feeds the water and it self-feeds the soap, and it heats it, and then it agitates it. So you can leave these items in there, and as you can see, remove items for wash, sink, and inspect for cleanliness. So it takes all the hard work out of pots and pans. So I'm sure there's a lot of folks listening at home say, wow, I'd love to have one of those in my kitchen, but they're expensive and they're big. So this whole thing together is one sink. It's 19.5 feet long. It'll take the entire wall. But the nice thing is when they come in that first set of doors we came in, they take the pan, they put it in there, they let it agitate for a while, the dish guy comes over, pulls it out, basically clean, and runs it through the sanitizing machine. Much, much faster than scrubbing it with a putty knife.
Oh, this is quite an operation. I mean, it is one of the biggest restaurants in America.
It is.
1,500 seats, or you said you might even put another couple of hundred in, get up to 1,700
yeah,
seats.
we're actually going to be adding some seats. We have to get the tables made, but we're going to be adding more seats.
So maybe what we might do is just, you can tell us what that is, and we'll walk up around the front so people
Okay.
see the front. I know we're putting a new sign on the front right now saying Emzara's Buffet.
Yes.
Before it said Emzara's Kitchen, and now it's changing
and it's
the
a
sign.
much bigger sign. It's going to be much easier to navigate.
So what do we have over here?
Normally, when you have a Pepsi or a Coke vendor, you'll see a little tank about that tall, and they plug them into the CO2 tanks.
Right.
Goes into the pop system. We go through so much pop that we added a bulk tank, which is 250 gallons of pressurized gas. But in addition to that, there's a second one because we always have redundancy.
So Dan, let's head on out to the front.
Okay.
And by the way, this beautiful little valley over here opposite the Rainbow Gardens.
Yes.
And we're going to develop that valley in the future, we hope.
Yes. It's just a beautiful piece of land when you look out over the trees.
I mean, over 800 acres here.
The view from the second balcony is quite gorgeous.
Yeah. We should have gone up in the second balcony, but
Well, just so people know, you can sit up all the way up there.
there's upstairs, downstairs. You can sit out on the deck. You can look at the ark. You can look over this valley, over the zoo back there. We're expanding the zoo behind the ark right now.
There's the smokehouse you were talking about.
There's the smokehouse. So we have other food venues on the property.
Yep. We smoke
And
the meat every time we smoke it. We smoke for at least 12 hours.
And have a big
Before we
smoker
serve
there,
it.
don't
Yep.
you?
You can see some smoke coming out now.
And we have Kona ice, we have lemonade.
Yes.
And then in Village Market, we have Zofars, all sorts of interesting sandwiches. Your Monte Cristo, is it?
Monte Cristo. Yeah, we have the rolled ice cream, the Thai rolled ice cream, which is really interesting to watch them do that. I think we did a Facebook Live on that already.
Yeah, we did. And so as we come out here, people go down the left to the zoo. We're at the bow of the ark here, the gift store under there.
It's interesting. You can almost time it because everybody's so fascinated with the ark, and then they all come out at once and hit the buffet.
And then they start pouring in
Yep.
here. Yeah, so
Yes. So here we are at the front. That's the bracket for the new sign. As you can see, you enter the buffet from the left-hand side of this front. You'll walk around the patio porch and in the side door. So you can come around and approach the buffet from the front as we showed you.
And then over here we have the new Village Market entrance, which is looking really nice. And
Lots
so people can go in there for all sorts of food options
Lots
as well.
of places to sit, lots of umbrellas, lots of places to relax.
Hey, the
At
small,
Zofar's, they'll even bring your meal to you. They'll give you a pager and they'll page you when it's ready.
oh, is that right?
Yep.
Wow. And you got things under control down here.
Well,
Dan.
I don't know. We have a great staff.
Yep.
That's Otto over there. He's our operations
How
director.
many
hiding
staff
over
do you
there.
think just work in the food services down here at the Ark?
150, I think. I mean,
150?
when you include part-timers and all that stuff. We can always use more, though. We're always looking for culinary-minded folks. We're actually working towards creating a culinary program where you can get your sous chef degree through us. And so we'd love to have anybody who's interested in food come out and join our team.
Maybe I should learn to be a chef.
Come on back. You can learn all those spices.
I'll let you guys do all that. Well, Dan, this has been a fascinating tour. Can't believe the complexity of what goes on here. And really, for people watching this, you're just not going to see that at most restaurants, that sort of complexity.
You really, I mean, it really is amazing to watch these young folks and the management team.
Oh, yeah. I
handle
wanted
these
to do it
crowds.
before it actually opened, because once it's opened, they're running around the kitchen there like crazy,
It
and
turns
I didn't want to get in their way.
Yeah.
But we had them prepare that food just a little earlier today so we could get in there and see it and see them preparing, but to get out of the busyness of it all.
Definitely
So-
the calm before the storm.
Yeah, so I know they're getting ready now for the storm, and by another, hour and a half, it'll be packed in the bottom floor there and up the top.
And for any atheists watching, yes, we're making all that food so people can eat it.
Yeah,
It wasn't a show.
there are real people that eat
There
it.
are real people that eat that
Yeah,
food
that's an
every day.
incredible amount of food.
It's a lot of food.
So, and they got a lot more to cook yet.
Now, they'll cook
That's
all
just
day.
the start.
That's just to set it up. That's just to get
So,
going.
so the buffet's open all day,
It's open all day.
and we're open right now. People need to check hours on the website, but right now through the summer we're open till 9 at night.
Right.
So they can have lunch and dinner here,
That's correct.
and they could even use that's a big smoker over
It
there.
is.
Look at that
At,
smoker.
1,000 pounds of meat you can smoke in that thing at one time.
So 1,000 pounds of meat at one time. Wow. So you do everything big down here.
Well, you got to be ready. You do it big and you do it back up. That's the mantra.
So, well, thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Great to spend the morning with Dan, our VP of Attractions Operations, here at the Ark and the museum.
Yes.
And you have a food services director at each. And
I do. Well, Kelly's the food service director over both, but we have management in place, and then we've got a great team that pops back and forth. And
so then we have a whole other food supply there at the museum, at the Creation
it's
Museum.
very complicated, but it's a lot of fun.
So, well, with that, I hope you enjoyed our tour this morning through one of the biggest restaurants in America here at the Ark Encounter, Williamstown, Kentucky. Go to arkencounter.com, arkencounter.com. Come and visit both our attractions, the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum. They're 45 minutes apart, the world's two leading Christian-themed attractions, world class.
Absolutely.